And welcome back. This is Prep Recruiting Inside of PRI, and we thank you for starting your evening here with us. I'm the head coach of PRI, Rick Gaille, and we're here at Moe's Pizza, where Italians do it better, 1112 Avenue H in West Wego. We're joined by our Prep Recruiting Insider, the man who greases all the squeaky wheels of this operation, Rene Nadeau. And we are so happy to have Reggie Rogers, the head coach of the Bonnabel Bruins, with us. Reggie, thank you for being here
Absolutely,
today.
Coach. You know when you call, I'm coming.
That's right, and it's a special pleasure for me because I coached Reggie when I was the offensive coordinator at Bonnabel, and Mike Vilmarette was the head coach. And
Yes, sir.
I'm happy that he's in the coaching profession right now.
Well, you're part of the reason.
Well, thank you.
I will tell anybody that. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Tell us what it's like to be an alumni of the school that you're coaching at.
It's a big deal for me. It's important that I give back to to a place that meant something to me, Coach. Being there this amount of time, I couldn't ask for anything better to be able to work in my community and give back to the place that kind of helped mold me. It's important.
And you have a couple other Bruins on your staff.
Yes, sir. I have Coach Tedrick Henry, who played with us with Coach Gaille was there, and also Dwayne Hill Jr., who was 80s graduate. He played there as well. So, kind of have people who care about the place. Is important to me.
That's great. It's a pleasure having you on, Reggie. And
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having people like Reggie that you had a chance to work with really extend what you did as a coach, and I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you.
But Rene, we're going to Class 4A. We're in the non-select side. This is the semifinals. And very first of all, a rematch. Number 3 rated McDonough 35 at 12-1. The Ron Eagles are playing the Edna Carr Cougars, who are undefeated at 12-0.
Edna Carr and McDonough 35. McDonough 35, defense allowing 13.5 points per game in the playoff. Their defense is stout. We had them on last week. LaJawn Howard, vastly underrated at quarterback. They really good on defense, number 3. Number 2, Carr, 58 points, over 58 points per game on offense, and a defense only allowing, 6.5 points per game. They still haven't played their best game yet. They are steamrolling opponents. They got so many big weapons, and Alden Clark is a quarterback that is very efficient. 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 73% of his tosses have found their mark. So he's good, and he's got some big-time receivers. It's going to be tough for McDonough 35, but I wouldn't put anything past Wayne Reese after talking to him last week. That's going to be a great matchup.
Yes, sir.
And Reggie, what are your thoughts on this game?
It's going to be a brutal matchup. You have familiar foes. Of course, District 9-4A is a strong district in the state, and with both teams knowing each other, it should be a good battle, Coach. I mean, Alden Clark, it seemed like he's been there forever, so he knows what's going on.
That's right. He has been around there a long time.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty unusual. 3 out of the last 4 teams from District 9-4A.
Yes, sir. Man, I don't know if you're not one of them Warren Easton, Carr,
Landry Walker.
Landry Walker. I mean, not Landry Walker.
No,
35.
I'm
sorry.
Easton,
Then, man, that's a brutal district, man. It's tough, man.
That's right. I'm thinking Landry Walker
Yes,
because
well,
they're in the
they're right there too,
But
Coach.
no, we're getting to them later on. Later on, what a group.
Yes,
and we want to remind you that the McDonough 35 Edna Carr game will be streamed live at sportsnola.com in the big rematch. The Cougars really put it to them the first time, but you can count on the Ron Eagles bouncing back in this one. In the next matchup, the Warren Easton Eagles at 9-4, playing their best football right now, are taking on the Neville Tigers at 12-0, Rene.
Warren Easton, the lowest seed in the entire state right now at a division at 13. They beat Minden, the number 5, last week, 34-20. But you remember Warren Easton lost in 2014 to Neville in the state title game. There's not a lot of superstars on that Eagle team, but there's a lot of good chemistry. Neville, the University of Neville, what a loaded team they are. Their defense has allowed just over 7 points per game. Defensive tackle Fedarian Mathis is being recruited by everybody in the country, and they have, out of 11 players, maybe 9 are being recruited, heavily recruited by Division I players. So they are stacked everywhere. There's no weak link between those two. Reggie, what do you see in that matchup? It looks like quite a task for Warren Easton, but they're playing good, and you got to give them credit because you're playing good as a team chemistry.
Right, you got to give the coaching staff credit at Warren Easton. Those kids have really bought in. Like you said, there's no superstars per se, but the kids have, like we say, they drink the Kool-Aid and they bought into the program, and they really believe that they're supposed to be where they are. It's not a surprise to them, it's a surprise to us, but they believe that they're where they should be.
And that's important because they had a coaching change there.
Correct.
Tony Hall went to Kansas, and we had him on the show not long ago. But Jerry Phillips has done a good job later in the season. It took him a while to get it together, but the kids buying in have a lot to do with it.
Well, he's Coach Phillips. You know, of course, I talked to Coach Brooks. Coach Brooks, you know, Jerry Phillips from back in the Card days. You know, he has good stock. You know, he learned from Coach Watney and those guys back in the day. So he knows what it looks like, and he's used to winning. So all he has to do is keep his head, keep focused, and pass it on to his kids, and he's fine.
Reggie, when you're playing against a team like this, like a Neville,
Yes, sir.
how do you get to focus on, don't what's happened or what happened in the past, just focus on what we can do, and how do you keep your players from just focus on what they do best?
As a coach, you don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want your players to be overwhelmed by the situation. You want them to stay calm and do what they do best, and I think that's the key to make it as normal as possible and not worry about your opponent, but to stay focused and do what you do well.
And the Car Cougars show up all over the place when
Yes,
you get
sir.
right down to it. We have Jerry Phillips coaching Warren Easton.
Yes.
We have Bryce Brown, who's an Edna Car Cougar. It all
Right.
goes back to Coach Watney.
Coach Watney, right? If you learn under good people, man, it stays with you, you know, on no matter what level.
And that's a legend of the game,
Yes,
Rene,
sir.
that you had a lot of dealings with.
Don Watney, what a great guy, great individual. He's a better man than he was a coach. He was a great coach. And the thing is, you got to give credit to Bryce Brown, who was on the show just a couple of weeks ago, because everybody knows the underlining thing is they want to face Neville
Yes.
and get back. But they haven't lost track of what it takes to get there. The path to get to Neville, they're beating teams and they haven't slipped up. And sometimes you're looking too far ahead and you forget what's right there in front of you.
Right. You don't want to look ahead, Coach. Every week is important. And for those guys, I think they did a good job of staying focused on the opponent at hand. You know, of course, in the back of their mind, they'd love to see Neville again, but you want to stay focused and keep the kids focused on who's next. And I think they've done a good job with that.
And you can't look ahead and be so anxious about getting to the Dome that you forget to take care of business where you are. Everybody in the state has been looking forward to a rematch with #1 Neville and #2 Edna Carr, the two best teams throughout the season in 4A, but you cannot put it past McDonough 35 and Warren Easton to come up with a special game. We certainly feel that they will.
Right.
When we come back, we're going to look at Class 5A and Coach 3A. Coach Joe Chango is going to join Reggie and us on the set, give you more information you can't find anywhere else. This is PRI here at Moe's.